Oh, it's that time of, dude, well, technically next year because it's not 2024 anymore, but the best metal albums of 2024. Now, we've already had some crazy albums in 2025, but as every year, I always do best riffs of the year and breakdowns as well as best albums. Sorry, this one came a little bit late, but let's go. Best albums of 2024. You gotta listen to these. And you know what else you can get started in 2025? Some new Core Kid merch. Go check it out right now, corekid.ca. It's sick. It helps your 2025. Now, this is not a record that I necessarily was initially super excited that was coming out. I mean, look, I grew up with Judas Priest, I grew up with Metallica, some Slayer, all of that, Iron Maiden. And obviously, you guys know I listen to a lot of more modern stuff on here, but I was honestly really pleasantly surprised with this record. It kind of just gave me a really perfect throwback to all the old school heavy metal stuff I grew up in, but like a perfect representation of it. It sounds like Judas Priest. The riffs sound like Judas Priest. It has a bit more of like a modern mixture and texture to everything. Even the drums have some cool like double kick moments. And again, the riffs feel old, but slightly modernized. And again, they're just such a consistent band. And this album was a really cool surprise for me for this year. I thought they just aced it. Now, if you grew up listening to John for a Cowboy in the 2000s, you know they were a very different sounding, dun, 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 deathcore kind of band. Now they are, of course, much more progressive, and this new record is wild. I mean, in terms of a musician, I'm just sitting here just dumbfounded going, oh my God, I can't play any of this shit. It's way too out there, and it's very fun. And this is a record that's more for me like a vibe record where even though you want to sit there and really pay attention, I almost just enjoy listening to it, just putting in the background, doing other stuff, and just kind of letting the vibe of this wild tech death monstrous atmosphere kind of take you to different places. Like the bass, I never give credit to bass. Oh my God, Nocturnal bass, by the way. But this is one where the bassist, I literally am sitting here and I'm like, whoa, that guy's really good. I think some bands do need a bassist, actually. That's not just a computer. But honestly, everything from this album, it kind of just melds into one big, nice piece. The songs aren't as distinguishable from one to the next. It's not really a criticism. It's just a thing that I noticed. But again, that makes it kind of just an easier full listen to that you just kind of like put it on, it goes, and you're like, wow, that was sick. Yeah, it's a great record. Poppy. So this is another record that I didn't expect to really like as much. Poppy is great. I have nothing against Poppy. She's been collaborating, obviously, with Bad Omens and with Knocked Loose, one of the coolest collabs ever with Suffocate. And this is a record that came out, and I was really pleasantly surprised. It's basically a modern metalcore jukebox where it's like, here's the chill song, here's the Octane song, here's the pissed off song, here's the Architects type song, here's the Bring Me type song. And of course, in this record, having Jordan produce it, his production is very clear and you can hear it all over the place. And Poppy honestly does a really good job with the vocal melodies, with the delivery. It's just a really solid modern metal curated album. It does seem a little like extra pristine, and it's a good executed modern record that honestly, good on Poppy. Now, I don't know why you guys keep thinking I hate Allt. I don't hate Allt. I just haven't really talked about them much on the channel. But in terms of just executing bustercore or like thal metalcore the best, they aced it with this record. Every track, I can hear remnants of Invent Animate, Currents, that whole era of that modern metalcore, 0, 12, 13, string skippy riff style, with more of that thal infusion instead of a gent background infusion with also the ambience. The vocals too, the vocals is beast. He can kind of do everything. There's definitely some really cool catchy riff moments on here. The riffs aren't super techy. They're just good, solidly executed, and the atmosphere and the thal moments really kind of bring it all together with everything. And you can definitely hear like there's a Buster touch here. Damn it! The most caveman core album I've ever heard in my life. There's so many random moments on this album that is just pure angsty caveman energy. It's amazing. You don't have to think. You don't have to try to think. Let it go and just enjoy it. Just enjoy the raw, feral energy that is revolving around this record. Yeah, it just has some fun moments. I think the band seemed to lean into just not necessarily the meme of it, but like they went full caveman core and accepted it. Great album. Now, Shokran's been a band I followed for many years, of course, doing the whole Egyptian core scene. I think they do Egyptian core better than anyone. Guitar-wise, their riffs, oh my God, Dimitri is an absolute machine, as well as just the drum work on here, the vocal melodies, the scream, everything. Like, it sounds just like Shokran, and Shokran's been a band that's been pretty consistent for many years. It's good, it's pumping, good riffs, really good breakdown moments, heavy moments, catchy choruses. Like, they kill it, man. This is a great album. This is a band that before last year I never really heard of in my life, and then I wanted to check out the new record out of curiosity. A lot of people were talking about it. Wow, was I ever taken on a trip. Just sounding like a crazy cool death metal experimental progressive record where it seems like there's chapters for every song or something, and it's just these big pieces that take you around the world and space and time all at the same time. It is a trippy record. It is a very fun listen. It is a vibey record. I don't do the drugs, but I'm assuming if you do it also, that's an extra experience on them mushrooms or whatever might you be doing up in there. But this is a record that really just surprised me in a lot of good ways, and it's just different, man. It's out there. It has sick riffs still. Like, I don't know, just really surprised me. It was a sick record. What more to say, spacey man? Like, you guys know I'm not that much of like a slam dude. I love me some dun dun, but oh my god, is this record awesome. Hearing just the inherent ignorant combination of funk and slam everywhere with not knowing which song is which, is no way to differentiate it. It's all just with funk and slam riffs and pinch harmonics. It's happiness. You don't need to think a lot. You just put it on, you just smile, you get happy, you bang your head, and you're just having a good time. Those are the records that I think nowadays sit a lot more with me, and this is a like record, especially from being a band that I haven't really got into before the last few years, like PeelingFlesh, man. Y'all ace too. The snare, man. It's not even a Saint Anger snare. It's just a Saint hilarious snare at this point. Dude, I wish more people listened to this record. I feel like it was a little overlooked this year because it has some of the most cool, innovative, like guitar noise as well as production mixtures when it comes to modern metal I've heard in a long time. Again, Mirar kind of just upped the game right now and ruined everyone else's life with how crazy they're doing. This was an album from last year that just really, really put a new standard when it comes to guitar noises and these cool electronic production elements thrown into these songs that have like this new metal-y edge, which takes me back to the 2000s, but has this very 2024 skin to it that is very refreshing. It has a lot of really cool, fun moments, a lot of good, catchy, big choruses, and just, again, it's just a bit different and a bit out there, and that's why I like, go check this record out. Dude, I love me some good 2000s melodic metalcore. Growing up with a lot of melodic death metal and then the 2000s melodic metalcore that came right after it, the 5, 7, 8 heritage. It was so beautiful to hear this record, especially being a Darkest Hour fan. I think they're just so consistent with how they've sounded over the past, like, I don't know, oh my God, 25? Years. They've been a band for a long time at this point. There's a lot of really cool riff moments with the harmonizing and the 5, 7, 8 type riffage, and a lot of dark twists with these huge choruses. There's also a lot of thrashy moments, which Darkest Hour is definitely not afraid to do, and they have done in the past, but there's a lot more of that on this record, which I think is cool. But what really gets me going again is those just 2000s metalcore moments. I love that era, and this album just kind of aces that with a bit more of that thrashy twist. Stop yelling at me! I mean, guys, Two-Faced alone, just that throwback to One Step Closer, shut up, no, you shut up, was a magical moment for me. It just takes you straight back to the 2000s. It's kind of wild because every modern metal band now, again, in more of the core scene now, just rips off kind of Linkin Park. So it's crazy because Linkin Park still sounds like 2000s Linkin Park, but it sounds modern because Linkin Park already sounded modern in the 2000s apparently, and every band just ripped them off since then. So, and when it comes to an actual full album, this album was something I feel like is something you can just digest fully a lot easier than even some of the other Linkin Park albums, you know, within the past like decade or so, where it has a little bit of everything. It has a little bit of all of the eras of Linkin Park in one, some cool production tracks that are a bit more futuristic and weird. But yeah, big standout moments, like of course Two-Faced, Heavy as the Crown, which feels like Faint and Bleed It out. Oh my God. And then a more experimental track like Overflow is cool. You know, there's definitely sad moments on this album where you get a little sad and all that, but it just feels like a good culmination album for Linkin Park. Good comeback album. I think they killed it. Like, no real complaints with this record. Good album. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, checking out this record on Twitch with everybody was one of my favorite things I did that entire year. It was such a fun experience. We drank a little too much, to be fair, but it was just so cool to see the whole community come together and us listen to this music. But when it comes to the actual record and the actual substance of the record and listening to it after that whole experience too, dude, these songs hold up. These are definitely modern bangers, which was the goal of the album. I think Bring Me just absolutely aced it, where they have a lot of this cool production that's very futuristic and more pop elements, but also like hyper pop thrown in here and there, and just electronic weird things that you wouldn't expect in like a modern metal / rock record. But they ace it, man. it's Bring Me the Horizon, and I think, as usual, they're kind of always a little bit ahead. It feels like all the songs complement each other. It's a really good listen, and especially if you grew up with like the 2000s emo, post-hardcore, scene core stuff, it's a cool throwback. So, you know, get that hair dye and get them ripped skinny jeans, because you're in for a ride. Yes, the Butthole artwork record. Now, of course, you know, Black Dahlia having Trevor pass was a sad thing for the entire scene, and having their guitarist Brian actually step up to do vocal duties was a huge undertaking, and I gotta say, he absolutely aced it. The new record sounds like a solid Black Dahlia murder record. Like, it has all the elements of these dark, fast-paced riffs with these dark harmonies, as well as these fast-paced drums and these really cool leads, which, again, dude, the guitar work on this record is, especially the solos like in Mammoth Head, oh my god, dude, I just get so excited. I want to pick up my guitar and actually play that thing for the first time in a while. But the vocals particularly, man, it's weird because Brian kind of just sounds like Trevor, so it just sounds like the Black Dahlia. It still sounds like the band that we all know and love, and I think they're just really honoring that legacy in a really healthy and proper way. And this new record, dude, it's so good. It's one of my favorite of the years. Suffocate! I mean, you know you were going to see it on here, man. It's pissed. It's anxiety-inducing. It's creepy at moments. The production is wild and contributes to the absolutely heavy, crushing jun moments. Of course, the collabs when you have Chris Motionless doing Slaughterhouse 2, when you have Poppy, the best collab I think I've seen in the longest time, where Brian and Poppy basically sound like brother and sister, you know, pissed at Chuck E. Cheese with their parents. And of course, the vocal delivery from Brian himself being so just raw and pissed and matching the music. This album was such a goddamn banger, dude. Every song stands out on its own, and through a full listen, there's no wasted time, no wasted breakdown, no wasted junts or any of that. You know, whether it's the Boontacore Suffocate track, which is a massive banger, Don't Reach For Me with its big chorus, or of course the ending Sit and Mourn, which is one of my favorite tracks on the record by far, and it's like the ballad of the record. It's undeniable this is one of the best records of the year. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do some EP honorable mentions because, again, they're not really full albums, but we had some insane EPs. What the was that? Changed my whole brain how it works. Disembodied Tyrant with the 2 EP. Disembodied Tyrant might as well have been an album at that point, setting a new standard for deathcore completely. No blood was lost. And Counterparts with their Surprise EP too was something that was so fun to see, and just hearing really pissed off Brandon Murphy and hear like a little bit like End and these instrumentals that were so inherently metalcore and pissed. It just made me happy, dude. It was awesome. But personally, my favorite record of 2024, best metal album of 2024, whatever, however we're going to clickbait the title. Dude, I said this when I was talking about the awards show. The Boundaries record just scratched the perfect itch of that 578 that I grew up listening to. I think they absolutely aced it, from the breakdowns, the big choruses with these cool moments that are a bit more modern when it comes to production, but still sound 2000s, like blending both of those worlds is so not easy to do. Every single track on this record is a god-tier banger. It's heavy, it's catchy, there's no wasted moments for riffs, the vocal delivery is dumbo good, and the choruses, which at first I remember listening to Boundaries, I was like, well, those are kind of like sharp turns. You get so used to it and you start to appreciate the kind of contrast, and I think it's easily one of the best records of last year. So there you guys have it, best metal records of 2024. Be sure to comment down below which records I missed. Again, we include a lot in the actual Nick Nocturnal Awards show. That's why I wanted to do this video, which is a bit more of a personalized, simplified album list of my top 15 instead of, you know, like top 40 or 46, however many you vote for the Nocturnal Awards. So there's a lot on there too, and again, there's a lot of really good records, but these are my favorites. Comment down below the ones I missed though, so you can shit talk me and you can say, Nick, you were wrong about everything. At least push the algorithm. I appreciate it. And corkit.ca for some cool shit. I'm looking for 2025. I mean, Marar already won 2025, so it doesn't really matter. Great. Thanks, Marar.